Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nasalli wa nusallimu ala Rasulil Kareem, amma ba'd. So now moving on to verses number 8 to 16. Quite a few verses in here. Yeah, we'll go through all of this inshallah bit by bit. So the structure was what? ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Allah mentioned the muttaqeen first. Those who believe in the book, يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ وَيُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُوقِنُونَ. Then إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, the sifat of the disbelievers. Now the sifat of the munafiqeen, who claim to be believers, but they're not actually believers. So وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ آمَنَّا بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. And there are some. So مِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ. So you can say, and there are some, because it's means tabi'idiyya. Yes? So from the people there are those who say. What do they say? We believe in Allah on the last day. So they say this, وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ, whereas they are not believers at all. Yes, this at all translation, Hazrat Hamid Rahmatullah has brought it in. He said that, obviously in Urdu he said it, but he put it here because of بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. So مَا هُمْ مُؤْمِنِينَ is not ta'keed. مَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ, when you put the ba, harfu sila, harfu zaid, it creates emphasis. So he's added in Urdu, but the English version is at all, to show the emphasis from the وَمَا هُمْ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. So they're saying it with their tongues. So from the people are those who say we believe in Allah on the last day. However, in reality, they are not believers, i.e. at all. يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. So you have here يُخَادِعُونَ. Now, this, you say they deceive Allah. When you say deceive, that gives the impression that it actually occurred. Because I worship Allah, it means that the worship happened. And Arabic, like classical Arabic, you don't say, oh, yuriduna an yakhda'u, yastati, like that kind of word. It's simple. And you have to understand these like auxiliary verbs as they go along. So that's why in the translation, they have people added in these kind of words inside. They seek to deceive Allah. You follow it? Now, okay, and those who believe. They try to deceive Allah and those who believe. Now, the question may be that they don't believe in Allah anyways, how can you deceive them? Are you following me? If you don't believe in Allah, how can you try to deceive Him? They don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do they? So what do you mean they try to deceive Allah? Do you understand the question? So the here is that this is tabarrukan, that when you try to deceive the believers, you try to deceive Allah. Because they are they're like the following the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you try to deceive them, or you actually try to deceive Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are you following? Yes? So they try to deceive Allah. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, and those who believe. And they do not, whereas, وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ, whereas, this is wow haliyah. What kind of wow is this? Wow haliyah. Whereas, they, ma and illa means illa only. They do not deceive except themselves. They only deceive themselves. Correct? Yes? وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ, they do not realize or perceive. So realizing means you come to awareness, you have the mind perceive. I think I mentioned it here as well. We discuss that afterwards. Yes? Now, this sha'ara yash'uru is a fa'al muta'addi. To perceive something, to understand something. So what is it? It's not mentioned. You can have the context. So what did they not perceive? This fact. They don't understand this. They try to deceive Allah, i.e. by deceiving the believers. And they think they're successful, that we're saying, oh, we're believers, and they're not really believers, and they're taking a mick and mocking and jesting the believers. So they think they're deceiving the believers, but in reality, they do not understand that you're not deceiving Allah and His Messenger. They do not understand this point here. What's this point? You're only putting yourselves, you're only tricking yourselves. Are you following? Like for example, are you doing homework? I'm doing my homework. And you're on your phone. You're on social media. So you try to deceive your parents. You're deceiving yourself, because what's going to happen? The result of this is going to harm you when GCSEs come, when A levels come, when time to hand in your PhD. You're doing a PhD? When your PhD have to be handed in that time. So you think you're deceiving them, whilst in reality, the harm comes back to you. So they do not realize that the harm of this action that they're doing is going to come back to haunt them. The results will come back to haunt them. Yes? Now you have two translators of yash'urun. Some say use realize and some say use perceive. Now realize often is like a click. I realized, meaning you were unaware of something like you have a click of a realization. And the word perceive is more neutral and broader. It doesn't always mean sudden. It just means like just to detect that you come to you use the fact in front of you to come to a sound conclusion. So they don't understand that what they're doing really is coming back to harm them. وَمَا يَخْدَعُونَ إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُمْ. Correct? Okay. Yes. فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ مَرَضٌ. So this is what? فِي قُلُوبِهِمْ is what? خبر مقدم. مَرَضٌ is a mubtada. مؤخر. So there is a marad in their heart. Now the two words here that translators have used, sickness and disease. Disease is a medical condition, objective. So you won't say, I feel I have a disease. You say, I feel I have an illness. I feel ill. And disease is like, he's got cancer. La qaddar Allah. He's got whatever disease may have, pneumonia or whatever, correct? So the word illness, I'd rather use the word deceive based on this thing. I'll do disease. It's probably a better translation. So in their heart is a disease. What's the disease? Hypocrisy, lack of faith. Correct? So these kind of illnesses in their heart. So there is a disease in their heart. There's a disease in their heart. فَزَادَهُمُ اللَّهُ مَرَضًا. Allah has increased their disease. So for example, lack of sympathy, like just being very heartless. You don't know if I'm heartless. Correct? When it becomes manifest, when there's a chance to show empathy and there's a chance to not show empathy. That's why Umar radiallahu ta'ala used to say, you do not know a person until you have traveled with him. That's when the chance these sifat become apparent. You interact with somebody, that's when you realize these qualities become apparent. So they had this illness in their heart before, prior, and what happened after that, when the Prophet came to Medina Munawwara, this illness of inad, takabbur, rebellion, all of it became manifest. Are you following me? So they had an illness in their heart, and Allah increased the illness by the situation and caused it to become apparent. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. And they will be a painful. So عَظِيمٌ is great and أَلِيمٌ is painful. بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ. We'll do that later on. Now just remember one thing. When you have adhabun, now again it's like you have to think, it's like, like when you're like, if you're not familiar with novels, or I'm not saying the Quran is even anywhere near that, but like the Quran is like the book of Allah, but they don't like say everything at the beginning. Like they draw up scene and then you have to put things together. It captivates you. So you talk about the house, and then later on I mention, in the house there was also, actually in the corner of the house there was a knife. And then the story will go on, and later on it comes to realize that there's also blood on the knife. You get it? So you have to, it makes you put everything together as you go. Like you say, you put everything. وَلَمْ أَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ عَظِيمٌ مُهِينٌ. It's not, the fasah is not in there. So the adhab is mentioned in different places, which the people will receive, the disbelievers and those who rebel against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But every sifa is not mentioned in the same place because it's boring. That's a boring way of expressing this. The Quran is a height of eloquence. So you say, okay, here's al-adhimun, there's alimun, some ways muhinun. You put it all together, you see a different description each place. It creates a tanawwu, a different variation, which draws your attention. So they will have a painful punishment. So there will be a painful punishment for them because, we'll do the because tomorrow. How do you translate that? Bima kanu yakdibun. Everybody clear on that one? We stop here inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli wa nusallimu ala Rasulil Kareem. So moving on from yesterday, we now have, we've done this much before. We said disease and illness. We discussed those two possible meanings, and I think disease is better. Then we have here this part. Bima kanu yakdhibun. Okay? Now, ba is sababiyya, because of which. So they will have a painful punishment because ba sababiyya. Ma kanu yakdhibun. So kanu yakdhibun, they used to lie. Okay? Now this ma is masdariyya. I found it's not mawsula. Because the kadhaba yakdhibu is a fail lazim, and there's no dhamir or no a'id returning back to the ma. So kanu yakdhibun, they used to lie. Ma kanu yakdhibun is ma is masdariyya, because of their lies. So because they used to lie or because of their lies. Are you following? So they can translate either as of their lies is a masdar meaning as one, or because they used to lie. Are you following me? And some have added the word habitually to emphasize the kanu yakdhibun. Now, one thing you have to remember here, okay, let's go through a few points. I mentioned before as well, the marad that's being referred to, obviously they don't have heart problems, angina or something. Here means a spiritual problem. And the spiritual problem is nifaq, hypocrisy, hatred for Islam, hatred for the Muslimun, and hasad. And the truth is, if you have hate for any particular person or group, or you have excessive love for somebody, a particular group, you're not able to see the truth. That's why he says, for example, hubbuka shay'a yu'mi wa yusim. When you love something a lot, it blinds you from the reality. Are you following? In football, all the time. If your team signs a player, he's really good. He leaves it, and it happens, isn't it? Your team has the best season, the best coach. It's just what it is. What it is. That happens in real life. Sometimes the parents, they can never see the faults of the child because it's their own child. You're following? So if you have this excessive hatred, excessive love for something, it normally blinds you from the reality. It normally blinds you from the realities. Correct? Okay. Then, if you look at it here, وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ. So, kadhib and lying is actually a sin. Correct? It's a kabir, a major sin. However, this punishment that is mentioned here is not because of lying. So, there is a punishment for lying, but this eternal, painful punishment is because of not just lying, but because of nifaq, which means a particular form of lying. So, there is a punishment for lying. It's a kabir, it's a major sin. But this punishment mentioned is a particular form of lying. Lying in your belief, deceiving people in your belief. You following? So this punishment is not for a person who lies and say, oh, is it brand new? Say, yeah, it's brand new. My item I'm selling, is it brand new? Say, yeah, it's brand new. Is it brand new? You use it for one day, so that's lying as well, but it's not the punishment for that. It may be another punishment for dishonesty, etc. But this yakdhibun is referring to lying in iman and hypocrisy. Are you following? Yes? From the context, yes. It's understood from everything. You look at all the nusus. That's one of the issues we have to understand, is that you have people in all forms. It happens everywhere. You look at one hadith and you try to pass a judgment. You have to look at the hadith in light of all of the other hadiths and the Quran. And along with this, in light of the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, what they fatwa they pass. Because they heard the hadith first and they also understood the hadith first. So in line with what was their amal, what was their practice. Similarly, also another issue is, we hear a story of the pious. Now, we have to look at that in light of everything else. It may be, it may have been okay for him, or maybe he was overwhelmed with certain condition that he did an amal, but it's not for everybody else. Are you following? You have to look at everything in light of the whole thing. Whether it's even a story of the Sulahah. Look at it in light of everything else and put it in a particular framework. You can't just take one hadith or one story or one Quranic ayah. You have to look at everything and then say, oh, this is what it is. I give a similar example. There's one story, it says that to avoid involving in useless items. So he says that one person, he came home and he said to a person, is Ismail home? So he said, no. So he said, where is he gone? So he said, oh no, why did I ask where is he gone for? That's unnecessary speech. Yes? So maybe that was his particular situation, but you will find that the Prophet ﷺ, he had a hadith called Hadith Zara. It's just basically like a fable. And Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha told the Prophet the whole long fable about women talking about their husbands, and it was saying he's at this and she's at this. And because why? To just talk to your family is also an ibadah. So when he goes, you phone somebody, say, the women phone each other and say, what do you cook today? It's not benefit in that, but just a conversation starter. Are you following? MashaAllah, where have you come? When did you arrive? You just want to make people. So that's not, if you look at one story, you think, oh, that's also anything, and that person becomes very withdrawn from society. So you don't look at one story. Yeah, the idea is don't get involved in necessarily useless conversation. You're going on talking about something that's not beneficial. But you ask your kids, what do you do at school? It's not really beneficial to do at school. You're following? But it's that you make them happy, you have a conversation with them, you create love and mahabbah. So in everything, in the Quranic verses, in the hadiths, in everything, you need to put it in a framework. Looking at one hadith, one Quranic verse, or one story of anything will put you into a distorted form. So this yakdhibun is not just because of lying, but a particular form of lying, which is the nifaq mentioned previously. Okay? وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Now, because what are they? They are وَمِنَ النَّاسِ, they're hypocrites. They're deceiving people. So somebody says to them, so إِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ, when it is said to them, who says it? You can say either Allah says in the Quran, in other places it's said to them, don't cause corruption, don't do fasad, sort yourself out, behave in an appropriate way. When maybe another believer tells them. So when anybody says to them, لا تفسدوا في الأرض, do not cause corruption or disorder. Yes? Now you have two words that the translators have used. One of them is corruption, one is disorder. It's good to get in your mind right now. Here so disorder is basically a lack of order, dysfunction, it's neutral. It's not necessarily like for example, this class is disordered. It's just like, for example, loads of people sitting down, somebody's pen is here, somebody's So after you leave, automatically, like you push a partner a bit forward, you move the desk a bit backward, somebody left a pen by mistake. So it's disordered. That's not corruption. You also got the fasad, because it's not salah, it's not like the way it's supposed to be. Are you following? Are you following? And then corruption is more like, it has a negative implication. So here, corruption is a better word as opposed to disorder, in my opinion. In some places, fasad, for example, the food became fasid, meaning it became like, it went bad, it went off. No negative connotation in that. But both words that translators have used, reduce corruption here. When it is said to them, do not cause corruption in the land. They reply, we are only peacemakers. Yes, they replied, we are only peacemakers. So muslihun, meaning we're trying to set things right. That's actually our job. So he said to them, they're hypocrites because of corruption and fasad. So people say to them, do not la tufsidu fil ard. After they used to do ifsadan means to cause corruption. Do not cause corruption in the land. As an idha. What's the jawab? Qalu. They say, we are only peacemakers. Like, we're not causing fasad. We're actually causing right. We're doing good. We're actually what? Doing good. Now, leave that part here. Okay. Now, this is, so they say, qalu, they say. Either they say to others, they say in their own mind, or they say to the weak Muslim, but they say to whoever it may be. So whenever a message comes to them, either verbally, from the Prophet, from the mu'mineen, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, whether exactly the word la tusidu, or it's actually like the context says don't cause corruption, don't do evil, then they say to themselves, like, we're not, no. Or they say to other people, no, we're not. Now one very interesting point here that the Mufassirun have mentioned is that when they say what was the hal? Are they saying it inadan or jahlan? Once inad, you're taking a mick. Let's say, for example, I say to you, the exam is going to be very hard to scare you all off. And when you guys leave, I go tomorrow. The exam is easy, but it's meant to revise. I'm taking a mick out of you. Like, inadan. Like, I'm just gonna I don't like you guys. So I want you guys to like just suffer the pain of having this worry for 2 weeks that the exam is going to be very hard. Or for 6 months, that exam is going to be very hard. Don't worry, it's going to be hard. Okay, exam, don't panic. Yes? And the other one is, I wrote the exam really hard, but I didn't realize it was really hard. I thought it was easy. I said, don't worry. I said exam's going to be really hard, and it became easy. And I didn't mean to make it easy, but it was easy. Or I said the exam's going to be easy. He said, okay, it's going to be easy. And it was really hard. And I thought, I didn't think it was going to be that hard. I thought you would have known this. You're following me? So similarly, when they said, innama nahnu muslihun, are they really just like taking the mick and saying basically, like, you know, like sticking the middle finger at you basically, like, I don't really care, innama nahnu muslihun, we're just lying. We know we're not muslihun. We know you're causing fasad, but we don't care. Go, stuff it. Or has their understanding became so warped that they can't really tell that what we're doing is fasad? Are you following me? So the Mufassirun said, we don't know. It could be possibly some of them were jahil, some of them mu'anid, or maybe the all. So this is a scary aspect in this part, that a believer, that again the ideology of the munafiqun, some of them were basically, they were proper kafir and rejectors, and then they said this as a like, just tell them innama nahnu muslihun, we don't care, and we just laugh at them behind their backs. Or they actually believe that we're muslihun. The corruption they were causing. Like for example, you go say, oh, let's say for example it happened here, and I don't even understand what I'm doing. I say, Ahmed, police came to your house today? For example, no panic. So now he's in front of everybody. You following? Now one is I actually have this evil intention to humiliate him in front of all of you. Or one is I don't even know how to conduct myself. And I just ask him a question. I was like, why are you asking a sensitive question like that in class? Which puts him on the spot in front of everybody. Yes? You following what I'm trying to say? So it could be in this, sometimes we don't even understand what we are doing. Okay. Ala. What's ala? Harfu tanbih. Harfu tanbih means you want to draw some attention. Like, it's like a ta'keed, like inna. But it's like, listen very carefully. Ala. So you can beware, lo, indeed, and questionably. All of these different words to highlight this emphasis, that listen carefully. What are they saying? Innama nahnu muslihun. But ala. Listen very carefully. Innahum humul mufsidun. If you look at it here, we have like quite a bit of ta'keed, because like they say innama nahnu muslihun. We are innama for only, isn't it? So they say innama, we are only muslih. We're not doing any fasad. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says ala, one ta'keed. Inna, two ta'keed. Hum, three ta'keed. Al-mufsidun, alif lam. When the khabar has alif lam, it creates another ta'keed. So we have four ta'keed. Allah says no, these are the ones who are causing fasad. The people who are claiming to be muslih. Now we are setting the world order right. We are the one promoting justice. We are the one promoting all of these whatever we want to say, setting human rights and all of this. So it happens before the same ideology. But they are the ones who are mufsidun. So now how do we translate this? This is what, so this is the humun mufsidun. So now we can add we can do like this. Beware. So Allah is beware. Correct? Then indeed is one emphasis. It is they. So if I said he is standing, that's not emphasis. It is he who is standing creates one emphasis. So we say it is they. That creates one emphasis. Who are truly, we can add the word truly in here. And the corruptors, supposed to be corruptors. Are you following? So I got 3 ta'keed in, but they're actually 4. I don't know if you can maybe, the transition I had to look at, none of them had 4 of them. I got 3 in normal English, but there are 4 ta'keeds in emphasis. Well, actually there are 4 in it because this is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it actually is 3, isn't it? Because it's not counting. Yeah, because Allah is also another one, beware. So yeah, all this come in, all the ta'keed do come in. One is the beware, and one is it is they who are truly the corruptors. So you have indeed, it is, and truly. That will give you the ta'keed of all 4 emphasis. So make sure you get this transition correct, yes? Do you understand? وَلَكِنْ لَا تَشْعُرُونَ. But they are unaware. What are they? Unaware. Meaning, لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Again, when you have لَا يَشْعُرُونَ, this is a فعل متعدي. What is this? فعل متعدي. What's the مفعول به? It's not mentioned. But it's because you're here. They don't understand this. Are you following me? وَلَكِنْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Do not sense this, perceive this. They can't see it. Are you following? So they are claiming this, وَلَكِنْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Now in hindsight, I'm thinking لَا يَشْعُرُونَ, it kind of points towards what? They are jahil. Or you could say لَا يَشْعُرُونَ, that Allah knows, that we know. So if you look at it, Allah, لَا يَشْعُرُونَ, they do not know what. So they do not know that they are mufsid. That means that they are saying that out of jahl. They are saying إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُسْلِمُونَ, out of what? Ignorance. Or it can be لَا يَشْعُرُونَ, that everybody else knows about it. So another maf'ul bihi. But the jahl one seems more easier to fit in. You following? Muhammad, you following? Can't say your last name, they never know who you are. Say Muhammad and that's a bit yes? So then I can tell you off one time, then they say, okay, let's keep it. Muhammad is very vague. Understood? Ji. Now, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ. Okay, let's look at a few words. In this sense, we have وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ. When it is said to them, آمِنُوا, believe. Don't be half-half. Sometimes you say we are believers, and then when you go to other people, you're not believers, and you're not really believers. Don't do like this. Submit properly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're saying on your tongue, but your behavior is something else. Your behavior is not like this. Aminu, believe. Kama amana nas, like the people have believed. This alif lam is now for ahad or istighraq? Ahad. Which people? The Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, the Muslimun. So believe like the people. Which people? Is ahad. Particular known group, which is the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala. So believe like the Sahaba believe. Believe that the people believe, and referring to the people meaning Sahaba. So when they say to them, they said, Anu'minu kama amana sufaha. You want us to fully commit and submit, like how these ignorant people have submitted. Now, what does safah mean? If you look at safah, safah is basically mean khifatun fil aql. You don't have that much intellect. What does that mean? You don't have that much intellect. Are you following? And you would say here, like a safi is like, he doesn't understand what is right. So for example, you could say like a child is safi because he may be very clever, like he can walk, he can talk. If you give him £20 and when you give him a sweetie for like a little smallest sweetie, he'll stop it. Say, give me a sweetie, give me the money, I'll give you a sweetie, he'll give it. Give him a block of gold and give him a football, he'll take the football and give the block of gold away. So he's safi, still safi. He doesn't understand what the actual long-term implications are. Are you following? So what they're saying is, should we believe like these people who do not understand the long-term implications of what they are doing? They're saying, oh, we believe in Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They don't understand that means that now you're going to have, some people won't follow you. All of the Arabia will go against you. By doing this, you have to give zakat. You have to then, like everybody's equal in rights. There's no more, like in the one saf, there's a rich and the poor standing together. Like, do you understand what this really means? You're following? Your superiority, all of these things that you have, this is all going to go. Do you actually understand what you're getting into? So you guys are sufaha, you don't understand what this is, you're just going with the wind. Are you following? So should we believe like the ignorant people have believed, the sufaha? Should we believe like how they have believed? Like fools. Yes? Correct? So Allah says, Allah, again, listen very carefully. Innahum humus sufaha'u. Beware, again, beware. Indeed, it is they who are truly the ignorant or fools or less in intellect. Why? Because this. You're thinking that in the long term there's a big risk. Are you following? Are you following me? So you're thinking Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala believe, but they're not you're looking at long term. But really, so believe that others will oppose you. You have to give salah. Your market time will decrease. You'll have to go to masjid. You have to do ita'ah of Allah's command. Some people were pimps. They actually had pimps in Medina Munawwara. That's going to go down the drain. Riba is going to go down the drain. Alcohol business is going to go down the drain. All of the zina is going to stop. You want to do all of this? Really? Like, but what are you going to bring upon yourselves? You following? And Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala, they're actually the uqala. Why? They're thinking even longer term than you. What are they thinking? After death. So you're thinking that they're safih because they can't think of the long term. But you think, okay, our alcohol will go, our pimping business will go, our, we'll have to give all of these luxuries and all these comforts that we have. We'll have to give all of this. So that's you're not really understanding what this means. But Sahaba understood better than you. They don't understand. You don't understand what the longer term implications are, which is what happens in the hereafter. So you ala innahum humus sufaha. You are like the child who's thinking of the short term benefit of the sweet, and you're giving up the gold. Are you following? Yes. Here, however, it says walakin la ya'lamun. So lo, behold, indeed, it is they who are truly the fools or ignorant. But then you have the word la ya'lamun. What do we have? La ya'lamun. And the previous ayah had la yash'urun. Now shu'ur is used to refer to when you understand the mahsus, something you can sense. Yes? I have shu'ur of what? Like sha'r from the hair. So it's on top of your body. You following? I can sense heat. Ash'uru bil bard. Ash'uru bil harara. I can feel heat. I can feel cold. I can sense a bad smell. How do you observe these things? By your senses. So fasad. Everybody can see fasad. You following? Murder, corruption, bribery, usury, theft, bullying. Everybody can see it. Are you following? But to understand who the sufaha, what do you need for this? Ilm. You have to think a bit. It's not just, you have to count. You have to use your brains. You have to add up mass. You have to put one and one together. You have to think a bit deeper. So everybody can see that they're what? Mufsidun, but la yash'urun. And they are the sufaha. Why the sufaha? Think about it. So it makes a more thought process. Walakin la ya'lamun. They do not know that they're the sufaha. That they are the one who have shortcomings in their intelligence and their process. Fahim? Are you following me? وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا. This is how they is. إِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا. When you read the Quran, you read the whole, we see that these qualities exist all the time. When what do you call it? When you need votes, what did they come say? Oh, we'll review everything. As soon as it goes. So sometimes actually see recordings, people get they say one thing in public, and the next day they change it. It's been happened last minute. You can see it on all you could feel anybody okay, a politician for worldly gain, they say, oh, we are against NHS cuts. And as soon as money is in, protest NHS. Again, not politics, but it's like the human quality is there. You say, oh, I want to get into power. I'm going to make sure this. Now, as soon as you come in, you realize there's more benefit in me in doing something else. So it's not a new quality. This is Allah's mentioned these qualities right here. And you say one thing here or one thing there. And wherever your benefit is, you say those words. Are you following me? So if, for example, it can also be money, also for fame, also embarrassment. Now, let's say, for example, I said, do you know what? Like the way you dress. Like, here, I don't want to seem out of place, so I'll dress this particular way here. Or I'll just soft the tune a bit. In madrasa, if I say, yeah, ilm is very, very important, madrasa is very, very important, it'll suit everybody. And when people are bashing the ulama outside, they say, this is like that, yeah. Why? Like everywhere, wherever it benefits you, you go along. That's a problem in human capacity. You talk anywhere, like this is a few examples, but everywhere that fear of being left out, that fear of what's more mafad, Where's my benefit? So وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. So when you're in a group of believers, what should you say? I'm a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. I don't believe. You say, Amanna. I believe. I'm like you guys. So what happened now? You're believers. So in Medina Munawwara, the Muslims, you have Muslims around. So in their circles, oh, he's a Muslim. So if all the benefits that Muslims get, I'll get them as well. Are you following? But then, so when they meet the believers, وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, when they meet those who believe, they say, Amanna, we have believed. We are with you. Don't worry. But then, وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَىٰ شَيَاطِينٍ خَلَا يَخْلُو, to be empty. Meaning, when they go into privacy, when they are alone in seclusion. So khalaw, when they become empty with the shayateen. Meaning, when they go into seclusion. Again, what you should do is look ahead before you come, so you know the main words that are difficult to translate. And you can note those translations. So khalaw means, when they are alone in seclusion, or when they are alone. You can just say, you don't have to add that wording. But when they are alone or they seclusion with their devils. But devils doesn't mean that you have the Iblis comes into human form. It means he's the devil. Meaning, he's so horrible. So human beings who are very, very hypocritical, very, very evil, they do all this kind of stuff, he's a devil. Are you following? He's the devil. So shayateen, he means not the personification of the actual jinn. It means like X, Y, and Z human beings who are devils and they cause big corruption. They are called shayateen. So when they go into privacy with these shayateen, when they go into privacy with these devils of theirs, these evil people of theirs, they say, Inna ma'akum. Surely we are with you. Innama nahnu mustahzi'un. We are only istahza'a yastahzi'u istihza'an. We are only jesting. When we say with the believers, Inna ma'akum, amanna, that is a joke there. Just to convince them, because they'll get duped anyways. And Allah told us that we leave people according to the zahir. We can't pry into people's private lives. So the Prophet said, okay, they say amanna, well, we can just leave them alone. So we just joke with them and we just say them, we take the mick out of them and in amanna, but really inna ma'akum. We are with you. Yes? And we will stop here inshallah. Allah yastahzi'u bi. Any questions? Everybody following? Ji, can you off the screen please? Everybody following? Any questions? We'll stop here tomorrow. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusallimu wa nusalli wa nusallimu ala Rasulil Kareem amma ba'd. Now moving on to the next ayah. The next ayah is Allahu yastahzi'u bihim. So in the previous verse it said, Innama nahnu mustahzi'un. And it means to make a mockery. Okay? So we say Allah makes a mockery of them. So these are three different translations. And the reason for this is we believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is muttasifun bi jami'i sifat al-kamal. Every single quality of greatness Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala possesses. And every nuqs, every shortcoming, every default, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bari and free from this. That's one thing. Number two, there's an usloob and a style in the Arabic language, which may have in other languages as well, is called jinas. Not jinas, sorry, it's called mushakala. We done it last year in Balagha. What does mushakala mean? Is when you use a word to express a meaning which is not necessarily commonly for that meaning, but it is only used because of proximity of another word. Let me explain that in detail. Okay? If you ask me, for example, Maulana, when is the holidays? Yes? I say, is Friday holidays? I says your exams is holidays. So I'm trying to like divert your point.
Yes. How many types of
Let's say, for example, my examples come from mind. Let's say, for example, what example you had? No, that's Usul Hakim. I'll look at easy English example, slip my mind. Let's say, for example, I say, for example, I'm going to go home, I'm going to feast on my dinner. I'm going to feast on my dinner. I say, feast on your homework. So you can't feast on your homework because feasting is something that you eat. But because you use the word feast, and I've used the word feast. You never say feast your homework. That's not a proverb. That's not even a metaphor. But because you say I'm going to go home and feast, and I'm trying to say, wait, what am I pointing towards you automatically? Yeah, you're going to get picked in class. Yeah. So I'm saying, don't feast. Go and feast your homework. So I've used the word feast to mean do your homework, exert effort on your homework, but I've only used the word feast because it occurs in close proximity to your feasting. I'm going to go home and feast. So similarly, istihza, as we understand it, as we understand the word istihza, we think a mockery of. That's like something that you wouldn't normally do as a good person, wouldn't mock somebody and jest at somebody. Are you following? So the word is there, so Allah does istihza, but we say the word istihza when it's used for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not as we understand it to be. Because that's a nuqs. To like trick somebody, deceive somebody, to laugh at somebody, to take the mick out of somebody. So that is not, so the word istihza is there. So we accept the word istihza, it's Quran. But it doesn't mean the normal wording there. So it would mean here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will throw the mockery back at them. This is one translation. Why? Because you never say Allah mocks them, because this seems to have, it gives the impression of, so even though the word istihza is translated as mock, in the context it doesn't mean mock. Or, he put it here in quotation. And that quotation, like, it means that it's, you understand it from there. It's not literal, because that's a sifatul naqs. Yes? And then he writes it in brackets, recompensing their mockery. So they mock at me, so I'll mock at you as well. Like for example, they come before, you bully me, I'll bully you. So when you bully me, that's wrong. And I'm not bullying you, I'm standing up to your bullying. But you just use that word in close proximity. Yes? You follow me? So here, this translation, there's different, you can use the word makes a mockery of them, or God mocks them, etc. But you have to understand it's not mockery as we understand how we do mockery. It's not like us, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is munazzahun an kulli aybi. So istihza is there, the word is there, but it doesn't, not as we understand it to be in our language. It has a meaning, which means recompensing them. How is it? That they go to the believers and they say to the believers, innama nahnu in amanna. And they go to the shayateen and they say to the devils and the evil and say, we are with you. And they think we can do everything. So what's it like? So, okay, you can do that. Allah doesn't give you any punishment straight away. You carry on in that, and you think that you are also in ease and comfort, and you're getting away with everything. Allah will recompense you on the day of Qiyamah for that, and that Allah has expressed as istihza. Do you understand this? Achha. وَيَمُدُّهُمْ فِي طُغْيَانِهِمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. So Allah yastahzi'u bihim وَيَمُدُّهُمْ فِي طُغْيَانِهِمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. Again, there's many different possibilities. The Quran is so vast, it's so deep. There are different ways of analyzing it. I'm just taking one or two ways, which is quite easy to understand. Which is atfun li bayan al-istihza. What is it? That is a harf for atf. But sometimes the normal default meaning of the atf is that the ma'tuf alayhi and ma'tuf are two distinct things. Okay? However, sometimes it can be for atf, for bayan, that the ma'tuf alayhi and ma'tuf are the same thing. The ma'tuf is simply giving more information. Are you following me? So one opinion is it's atf, it's li bayan istihza, meaning Allah yastahzi'u bihim. Allah mocks them. What is mocking them? This is mocking them. وَيَمُدُّهُمْ فِي طُغْيَانِهِمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. This ma'tuf is giving details of the ma'tuf alayhi. Allah yastahzi'u bihim. What does this mean? يَمُدُّهُمْ فِي طُغْيَانِهِمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. And what is this? Madda yamuddu is to stretch. We translate it here as prolong. Okay? So وَيَمُدُّهُمْ فِي طُغْيَانِهِمْ يَعْمَهُونَ. So Allah prolongs them. And tughyan, it means here in rebellion. So Allah prolongs them in their rebellion. And amiha ya'mahu is to wander blindly. Amiha ya'mahu is to wander blindly, meaning you're just continuing and pursuing and you don't even know what you're doing. You're not getting understanding, you're not getting clarity. So they're wandering blindly. So prolong, to make something longer than usual. So Allah is not punishing them immediately for the punishment, for their misdeeds. Allah is not punishing them immediately for their misdeeds. Allah is giving them respite, giving a chance and giving them a chance, and then what will happen? The sins will increase. فَزَادَهُمُ اللَّهُ مَرَضًا. And then the punishment will come very severe for all of their misdeeds. Then transgression is, some have translated as transgression, some have done rebellion, some have said exorbitance. Now depending on the context, you can use either one of these. Transgression, it means like a more moral, like transgression. Rebellion is like a defiance of authority. So transgression means you can even have it with nafs. I'm lazy and I come late to madrasa. I'm not rebelling, but I come every morning at 9:10 instead of 9 o'clock because I'm lazy, I oversleep. You following? That's like a transgression, not a rebellion. And rebellion is I will come at 9:01 on purpose. Like, you can't tell me what to do. I'll come at 9:01. I'll come late. Do what you're going to do. I wake up, I'm away from 5 o'clock. I'll come at 9:01 when I feel like this, so I can come. You can't do anything to me. You following? So rebellion has that extra meaning here. And when they say, inna ma'akum, يُخَادِعُونَ اللَّهَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا So rebellion seems to be a better translation. Okay? And when it comes to wastage and that kind of stuff, exorbitance can also be used. But I think here, rebellion is a better translation, even though these have all been used by different translators. So we use the word rebellion here. Okay? Now, أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى. أولئك, these people who have said openly that we're believers, but not actually believers. They're not actually believers. What are they? Munafiq, and they do two-faced behaviors. So these are the people who have purchased, and I wrote choose. That's right, chose or choose. Chose is the past tense, only got one O. I'm teaching Quran translation, not English, right? If it's wrong, correct it. So chose, the past tense has got one O, isn't it? You don't know as well. You just right click and check autocorrect. G? So it is they who bought, or it is those who chose. Now I explain why you use chose. Misguidance. So when you buy something, this is the thing that you take. And this is the thing that you give. Correct? The ba. What comes the ba is what you give. You say, for example, Ishtaraytu samaka bi dirhamin. I purchased the fish with 1 dirham. So the fish is the thing that you're getting, and what you're giving away comes with ba. So they have purchased, they've taken dalala, and they've given up what? Guidance. So obviously you can't buy something, because these are abstract things. You can't buy abstract things. You can't buy knowledge. You can gain knowledge. You can buy the teacher's time, or etc. You can't do, oh, he's bought destruction upon it. You can't buy destruction. You do things which cause destruction. But if I say he chose destruction, what does that mean? Okay, he had two choices. Let's say, for example, I had a choice to pick a burger or a portion of chips. And I picked a portion of chips. Why is ruling now? Huh? So I chose a burger. A burger is more expensive for a portion of chips. That's a bad choice. Are you following? Now one is the opposite, is that you bought something. So you had £20 and you chose the worst option. Are you following? So one is, you had an option, you had two things. You can choose 1 litre or 500 milliliter of Lucozade. And you chose a 500 one. It's like, why you chose it's for free. You chose the 500 milliliters as opposed to the 100 milliliter. Yes? Number one is you have £5. One is for 100 milliliter, one is 1 litre, one is 500 milliliter, half. So you bought the for £10, well, it's a £2. You bought the smaller one for the same price. Like, you made a bad decision. And one is you have a choice to bring, and you chose a bottle of poison instead of Lucozade. So now, you not only chose a bad choice, a free choice, you gave up something. You gave up your money. Or even worse, you gave up your gold nugget for a bottle of poison. You understand how the ishtira has more meaning than chose. So Allah is saying they had something. What did they have? They had hidayah. Either they said it on their tongues, وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا. So they had hidayah. And when they went to إِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَىٰ شَيَاطِينِهِمْ, when they went to the shayateen, they gave up the iman and they said what? إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ, and they took dalala instead. Or it could also mean that naturally every single person inside of them has the nature for worship. It's our fitrah. So when you study Aqidah, and you may have even not only Aqidah and depth, but then generally, that there's different arguments for the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the arguments is fitrah. That every single person inside of them understands that there is a supreme being. And everybody within them has a need to venerate somebody. And you say, oh no, we don't. You have a thing on stage and everybody's going crazy. Why? If you look at it, you're so used to it. But if you just take a zoom out as if you've never seen this in your life, there's one person doing something and it's like hundreds of thousands of people going crazy. For one. So a person takes a step over, and then the whole stadium, like one person that step over makes other guys fall on his backside. And the whole stadium goes crazy. Like they're venerating him as if he scores a goal. It's as if like, you're following? So the veneration for something is in a human being. It's nature. But because of our circumstances, we have like kind of disrupted this nature, and we choose to venerate human beings as opposed to venerate the Khaliq. Are you following me? So they have this nature inside of them to understand what is the hidayah, the potential of hidayah. They gave it up and they chose dalala by persisting in disbelief. Allahu Akbar. So dalala bil huda, they purchased dalala and they've given up hidayah. And Allah saying, فَمَا رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُ. And the business that they have done, they gave up iman and they chose disbelief. They may seem that, okay, we then what? We are the sufaha were those people. We are the intellectual people. Humus sufaha. They are the sufaha. Yudul Quduri or in Hidayah, that a person who's really, really like not have intellect, he can't do a transaction. You done it? Yeah. Because he doesn't have, like, example, let's say a person is not baligh, a little child. They wouldn't understand the value of items. A person is baligh, reach age of maturity, but he has a defect in his mind. He doesn't understand. He's got maybe like autism or learning disabilities or Down syndrome or whatever these illnesses. He can't function properly. He doesn't understand certain things. So his transaction is null and void. So they say, you see that the Sahaba Sufaha, but your transaction is the one that you made a great loss in them. A Safi makes a loss in his transaction. Everybody knows you buy something for £5, you sell it for at least £6, £7 to make some kind of profit. But you not only did you lose, you bought destruction upon yourself. Are you following? So you are the Sufaha, but I think فَمَا رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُمْ وَمَا كَانُوا مُهْتَدِينَ. And they were not. So فَمَا رَبِحَتْ, they trade did not bring profit. رَبِحَ يَرْبَحُ means رِبْحٌ is fa'idah, benefit. So their business, tijara, their business did not bring benefit. وَمَا كَانُوا مُهْتَدِينَ. And these people who were saying إِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَىٰ شَيَاطِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُسْتَهْزِئُونَ. These kind of people, their tijara did not bring benefit and they did not find the right way. Now again, many times what we have at the end of the ayat, the maf'ul bihi of the last part is Muhammad mahzuf. So if you're muhtadeen, you are guided. Guided in what? What are you guided in? So some said in religion. Meaning, so now it's going back to وَمَا كَانُوا مُهْتَدِينَ. They were not guided in their religious affairs. But they said آمَنَّا إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ. And some have said, this is muhtadeen can also mean like to find a path, kind of find the right way. So they didn't even find the right way in their business. So what is their muhtadeen in? Mufassirun and mutarjimun have differed. Nonetheless, transition is, so their tijara, their business did not benefit them and they were not guided. So therefore they are the sufaha, by not being able to understand how to do business. So that is the summary of these ayat that we have done. Everybody following this? Any questions regarding this? Okay, let's stop here inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.